Welcome to the Kingdom Hairstylist Podcast. This is your host, Billie Jean. Hey, y'all. What's up, y'all? I'm back. Again, my name is Billie Jean. Welcome to the Kingdom Hairstylist Podcast. I hope that you all had an amazing weekend, and I hope that you all are having an amazing week thus far. Today, I just want to make one quick announcement, and that is to subscribe to this podcast, share the podcast, like the podcast, rate the podcast, and just share it with everybody that you know will definitely benefit from it. And I just hope and pray that I am bringing you all topics and content that is pretty much helpful to your life. I go through a lot of different things, and I know that they are all for a reason, like I always say. So I just pray that this topic today shed some light on some things. It's kind of a difficult topic for me because it's something I'm actually living through right now, and I did not really want to talk about this, but God has been pressing me out to talk about this, and I know it's for good reason because it's definitely going to help someone. And I give God all glory for everything that happens in my life. Let me just put that out there, because nothing that I go through is just for myself. Just different things like losing my dad. I shared about that. I'm very transparent. There's some other people that have lost their parents. And there may be a time with somebody else. I don't wish it on nobody, but it's evident. Life is life, and then death is death. So I share everything. My son having diabetes, every single thing. I'm very much an open book, and I try to live that way because you never know who you can help, for one. And for two, I just like to show people the real side of life. Like, it's not always about social media and looking good on social media. There'd be like real issues going on in people's lives, and especially in mine. But I'm blessed. I'm so blessed. God is just so amazing to me. He is. I always tell myself, lately I've been telling myself that I'm one of God's favorite girls. And I tell myself that because I like to let myself know that even though sometimes things don't always go my way, I'm still one of his favorite. And he loves me no matter what anybody says about me, or no matter what I feel about myself, or whatever the devil might say about me. God loves me, and I'm one of his favorite girls. So you all are his favorite children too. We all are his favorite. He shows favoritism to all of us in different ways. So I just wanted to, put that out there. But today is a really, really good topic. I mean, it's definitely something I get asked a lot. So I said, okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and do the episode because I'm getting asked about it. And God has been pressing me out to share about it. So today I'm talking about being unequally yoked. So a lot of Christians and a lot of different religions, whenever you hear that unequally yoked, you think about like two different religions in a marriage. But sometimes it could also mean, you all can still believe the same things as far as religion, but still be unequally yoked because everybody's not on the same page in the marriage. You may have one spouse may be stronger than the other in the religion that you all are practicing, or it may be an instance where both of y'all don't go to church. Just one of y'all go and the other stays home and doesn't study, doesn't learn, whatever they need to learn. And it could be the husband could be the one going to church, and then the wife could be staying home. Or the wife could be going and the husband could be staying home, or both of y'all could be praying, but just not together. And y'all could be praying for two different things. I mean, there's so many ways that you can look at being unequally yoked, but today I wanted to just talk about in my case. So many of you may already know, or you may not know, because some of y'all don't know me, but I'm a Christian woman, as you can tell, and my husband, he is a Muslim man. So yes, we are married. We've only been married for about a year and a half right now, but we have been together, I want to say, since I'm being transparent, off and on since 2011. My husband is my very, 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 very best friend. He is my favorite chocolate drop. And I love him so, so much. He is just a great man. I mean, in a lot of ways. He is very supportive of everything that I do, dealing with me being in a band, me being a hairstylist, being a husband, being a great father. There's a lot of different things that I could say about him. He's a great listening ear. He gives the best advice. Every time I'm going through anything, I can just call him and we can talk. So that's pretty much the gist of our relationship, and that's why we are married. I did not hear from God, before I got married, not to marry my husband. I did seek godly counsel. In fact, we had Christian counselors to counsel us for our premarital counseling. And although the counselors may or may not agree with what we decided to do, they were supportive and they still counseled us. And my husband was very supportive in my decision for choosing Christian counselors. But he did make it very clear that he is not converting. And I made it very clear that I was not converting to become a Muslim. So we basically just decided a while ago that we would respect each other's religion choices and that we would be supportive in any way that we can to one another. But I'm not going to say that it has been an easy road getting to that point. There were times prior to us getting married, which is why we were so off and on, because I was having a hard time and struggling with the fact that we didn't serve, I'm not going to say serve, but we didn't believe in the same things as far as when it came to religion. We did not, we both believe in Jesus, but, of course, he believes that Jesus is a prophet, and I believe that Jesus is a prophet, but I also feel like Jesus is God's son. He is the Messiah, and we've each had our own different backgrounds of why we believe what we believe, and I will say that he was brought up in a Christian home, and as a young man, he was, pretty much brought to realize what he wanted to believe, and I'll just leave it at that. So he grew up as a Christian, but then he chose to become a Muslim, and those are the choices that he made based off what he believes and the things that he's experienced in his life. And so I was brought up in a Christian home as well, and I always believed in Christianity. I always believed in Jesus. I've had my own encounters that make me realize that Jesus really is God's son. That's why I can't be persuaded. And not to say that he tried to persuade me. He's never forced his religion on me, and I've never forced my religion on him. I think we have great dialogues now where we talk about different things and we respect each other's religion. Like I said, I learn a lot about Muslims, and I do it because I need to know. I just want to know because I don't want to be saying things that are disrespectful. And at the end of the day, he's still my husband, so he still deserves respect. So that's just some background on how we believe different things, but yet we are married. So I wanted to talk about what people say that unequally yoked in marriage means, but we'll examine what a yoke is first. So a yoke is a wooden bar that joins two oxen to each other and the burden they pull. So an unequally yoked team has one stronger ox and one weaker, or one taller and one shorter. The weaker or the shorter ox will walk more slowly than the taller one and the stronger one, causing the load to go around in circles. When oxen are unequally yoked, they cannot perform the task set before them. Instead of working together, they are at odds with one another. So that's pretty much what an unequally yoked team is. So if you equate it to marriage, it's basically saying that, like I stated earlier, one person will be stronger in faith and the other one will be a little bit weaker. Or you may have one person that prays more and the other that does not, or you may have one believer and one unbeliever. So there are different ways to look at this, but I'm talking about it today from, my point of view of what I feel like and what led to the decision for me to get married to a Muslim man. Now, I know a lot of different people. I know some, couples that are both Christians. I know some that are, not both of the same religions. They don't even have religions. They just, I'm not going to call them unbelievers because I feel like they believe in God, but they just don't practice a religion. So if we take religion out of it, both me and my husband love God. We love him so much. My husband prays for me each and every day. I pray for my husband each and every day. We both love God. We both believe in God. We just don't believe all of the details when it comes to religion. So that's basically what my relationship is like. But, everybody has their different opinions on Unequally Yoked. The first thing when people ask me, well, does your husband go to church with you? And they see me going to church all the time and seeing me pray and seeing me worship and all of that, I always tell them no, he's Muslim. And the first thing they ask me is, well, how does that work? Or is that, how do you feel about that? Are you, okay with that? And the answer is, yes, I'm okay with it because I made the decision and I knew before making the decision that he was Muslim and I was Christian. And so I knew what I was getting myself into. But like I stated before, I love my husband. So when I married him, I accepted him for who he is. And I knew that there was a possibility that he would never change. And so when you get married, you have to expect the person to be who they are. Marriage does not change people. It didn't change me, and I knew that it wasn't going to change him. Now, as I'm growing a whole lot more into the Christian woman that God has called me to be, I am seeing that it would have probably been easier to marry a Christian man because it would make my marriage a whole lot more stronger if we both were on the same page. But I can't undo what I've already done. So the best way for me to deal with this is to continue to pray for my husband, for one, his salvation, and for two, for me to continue to model the Christian behavior. And I cannot model negative behavior. I cannot keep making it an issue every time someone asks me about it, or beating him over the head to make him change. I can't force him to love Jesus the way that I do. I can't force him to believe the things that I believe. He can't force me to believe what he believes. So I just accept him for who he is. I pray for him daily. I pray for his mind. I pray for his beliefs. I pray for everything about him from his head to his toes each and every day. And I'm grateful that I do have a man that prays for me. He prays for me each and every day. So I can't ask for more because it's already done. So there are so many scriptures on marriage in the Bible. But I do want to, start off with a couple of scriptures. The first one is 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. And it reads, "Don't team up with those who are unbelievers. How can righteousness be a partner with wickedness? How can light live with darkness?" So that's one of the first scriptures that I looked up when I was trying to make sense of me being in an unequally yoked marriage. And basically what God is saying right here is that, we should be hooked up with those that believe the same things that we believe. And in this sense, they're talking about righteousness and wickedness. So wickedness could not necessarily mean my particular husband, but it could just mean people that have wicked ways. And I don't feel like he has wicked ways. So I know that being married to a Muslim man was not a sin. It's not a sin to get married to an unbeliever, but God just wants to advise you of what will happen when you do marry an unbeliever or marry someone that's not on the same page as you. It makes the marriage a whole lot difficult.